What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 1 of You Don't Know Jack podcast. And we are super excited to kick this podcast off. And let me just tell you guys, there's going to be tons of fun in this podcast. We're going to tell you stuff about Jack because you don't know Jack. The kicking it off is your host is going to be Jack Roush Jr. and myself, Trevor Wright. And for the first episode, we have our marketing team actually all together right here hanging out in the office. We got Josh Massive, Director of Marketing, and we got Steve Dumage, Marketing Associate. And let me tell you guys, we are going to have a lot of fun kicking this off.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, that excitement is just
chilling. Yeah. I know you can. It's coming through. You can hear it.
No, but the cool part about this podcast is it's going to be very just natural conversation. It's going to be talking about the services that Roush has to offer, because typically when you ask somebody, like, when you think Roush, what do you think? What is the first thing? It's what? It's NASCAR and it's Mustang. Those are the two main topics. But there's so much more, guys. And this is going to give us a platform to be able to tell you fun stories and tell you all the services that Roush has to offer. Jack, you want to share a couple of maybe the services that Roush is typically not known for outside of the motorsport and NASCAR world?
Oh, yeah. It's kind of kind of ironic. We're known for our NASCAR teams, for Roush Performance especially. But really, those are small compared to the engineering work that we do. And without the deep engineering capabilities that we have, we wouldn't be able to compete in NASCAR on the level that we do or produce the products to the level that we do. And that includes, engineering work, prototyping, design, the list just goes on. And it's not just automotive. We do military work. We do aerospace, entertainment. The reason why, that story isn't told more is because what it is that we do work for other companies, behind the scenes, and we have to be really careful in, what we talk about.
Right. Yeah. Like a lot of stuff. I remember actually like one of the first weeks that I worked for Roush, it's like you would walk into certain areas and it's like, hey, like, keep your phone down. Like there's some serious stuff going on here. And then I remember walking in because, to me, it was still my knowledge of Roush was Mustang and on the Roush Performance side, and it was NASCAR. And I knew about the road racing. I knew about drag racing. But then next thing you know, I see like a helicopter and I'm like, what is this military looking helicopter? Like, this is amazing.
Peek behind the curtain.
No, yeah. Right. And it was wild. And there was so much other stuff that I'd love to say, but it was really a eye-opening experience. But yeah, I mean, Jack, to your point, the services, mobility, aerospace, defense, entertainment, which is super cool. The entertainment side. I think if we just said the name, people would be like, what? Maybe we'll figure out clearance on that one. But later episode, we'll go more deep dive into the entertainment side. But energy, carbon robotics, which is super neat. I think one of the bigger things that just came out was, I don't know if any of you guys know the information on the tractor that has a laser beam that laser beams weeds, and it's autonomous. Cool. Like, does anyone heard anything else about that?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Can we
seen some video?
Can we not talk about that yet?
Seen some things?
I swear I saw an article on Google. It's on Twitter. I think we can talk about it, right? Yeah. But no, it's super cool. I mean, just as I said, like laser zapping weeds autonomously, which is super neat. But no, really incredible services. So it is cool to be able to essentially take all these services that we offer and be able to take this information and put it into our products. I mean, whether it's Mustang front fascia or F-150 front fascia. I mean, we know you talk about aerospace. Well, that also ties to the side. Is this it?
Oh, you were talking about the laser weeder.
Oh yeah, laser weeder.
To make sure we could talk about it.
Oh, we can. So it's on our website.
Absolutely.
If you guys go to Roush.com. But the laser weeder, that's literally what it's called.
And this is just one small example.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's just a super exciting, application of this technology. I think it's pretty wild.
Yeah. And I mean, and then jumping to the defense side, the Dagger, the Polaris Dagger, super cool looking unit, like off-road unit. It just looks cool. Like, I think if you get in that, you just sprout chest hair and Screaming Eagle starts happening in the background. Right. But maybe that was a bad reference. But these things are bad. Like, these are really cool. But you guys can actually check all that over at Roush.com, which is an absolutely beautiful website. We'll
Yeah,
be
shout out
there.
to that team over there.
Dang,
That's
those guys
cool.
are killing it.
Yeah.
And within the automotive space, something people may not be aware of is that we help pretty much all of the major OEs develop their products to make them better, to develop them. Personally, I'm a little sensitive when I read people describing us as a tuner or being an aftermarket company. I really don't view us that way at all. We produce pre-title vehicles that are certified for emissions, for FMVSS, or like safety on the roads, and we help other companies develop at a very high level. And the investment that we put in our products is way beyond what you think of for smaller. Nothing against them, but smaller performance companies.
Right.
We really are something different. And I love the idea of this podcast for a lot of reasons. We can tell our stories, but we can also really kind of, I think, tell the story specifically of what we put in the product and, really celebrate that. Because, I think part of our culture is that we're very humble, very competitive, but we like to show the results through actions. And we haven't told the story enough.
That's a really good point about being humble. And it's true because it stings so much. You said it, like when people are like, oh, it's just, you slap stickers on a car and you're like, it just makes your skin crawl because you're like, oh, let me tell you everything. Like my response to them saying, oh, you're only a sticker company is, you know what? Come tour Building 50. Let me showcase really what we are. And when you pull up and you see the big three manufacturers getting pulled into our building and us working on all these different services, it's kind of a pump of your chest. So,
For sure.
It's definitely cool looking out the window at the parking lot and seeing the giant haulers full of, all kinds of different vehicles, not just
This week's
Fords, but
project,
from all over the place.
next project. Yeah. I did see one last night when we were walking out. You happened to point over there at something.
Yeah, we got some exciting stuff coming up next year. So
Yeah. No, we'll jump into 2024 later in this podcast, but big shout out to the Roush Industry team and all the services that they have to support. It's pretty amazing. And it's something that we're super proud of to be a part of on the performance end. But talking about 2023 wins, we had a lot of wins this year. I think both on the Roush Performance side, product releases, vehicle releases, there's been a lot of excitement. Which when we launch a product, guys, it's like giving birth to a baby. It's so much excitement, and we can't wait to see what you guys talk about it and see seeing the reviews come in, seeing the install videos. We get super pumped about that. But there's also wins on the other side of things, and that's our race team. So RFK, Roush Fenway Kozlowski Racing. Let's just talk about that. Is a huge win. These guys, Chris Buescher, Brad Kozlowski, took the pack by storm this year. I think if they weren't in the top 5, top 10, they were winning the race. Chris with 3 wins.
Super proud of what those guys have done down there this year. Just really impressive. I think we have some great momentum. It was awesome what they did this year, but I think the other teams really need to watch out next year.
Yeah, that success ramped up. But then the thing about it is towards the last 7 races or 10 races, and don't quote me on this, I think we won 3 of the last 10 races. Chris won back-to-back at Michigan, which is our home track essentially, and the Daytona International Speedway at Daytona, which is huge as well. But also picked up his first win at Richmond, which is a super exciting race. But tons of look at laps led here. Oh, this was the Richmond results we're looking at. Yeah, I mean, led 88 laps, starting 26th.
That's
I mean,
wild.
Jack, you've been behind the wheel of many race cars. I mean, that's a huge push coming back from the back of the pack and a short course style track. That's
Not
impressive.
easy to do, for sure.
it's impressive.
But
Super exciting.
no, that is. But shout out to RFK. I'm super excited to see what those guys got coming in 2024, and we're looking to have them on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Talking with Chris through how he started and how Jack really believed in him, which is super cool. That's actually a story in itself.
A lot of people may not realize this, but Chris Busher helped my road racing team when he was, very young. He was already into racing, obviously, but he just wanted to learn, about the cars and, do everything on the team. And he was actually very quick changing tires. And it was awesome to see him in that part of his career, and also to see where he is now. Yep. I think also, even though Brad didn't get a win this year, his performance as well was super strong. With a little bit better luck, I think he would have been right up there in victory lane too. And, not just his performance on the track, but also his leadership with the team now, I think is part of the reason why we have this great momentum.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, and just think about having the responsibility of building off of Jack's legacy and the things that are like, you walk into RFK, even before Brad was there, just, you knew that it was a winning mentality. And then to take Brad's determination, and Brad, I've always heard super positive things about Brad, how he is a extremely hard worker. You always hear the cliche thing of he's the first one in, last one out. I think that's actually the fact here. And that's much of what your dad, I think, instilled in the company. And to have someone like this come along and pick it up, I think is going to be huge for RFK. But no, tons of announcements, guys. Talk about David Reagan in the Stage 60 car. This is going to be super excited. So now we're going to a three car team here. Looks like Build Submarines is going to take a big sponsorship with David Reagan, which is super exciting to see David jump back into this. I actually got a funny story about David Reagan that I'll share, but going to a three car team, I think is huge. All the big teams right now, right, are three car teams. So kind of excited to see that going. And with the number 60 car, if you guys haven't noticed, the number 6 or Stage 60 badging mimics actually our old Stage 3 badge on our vehicle, which I believe last year was the 21 model, Stage 3. Yep. So pretty cool to see that integration of the two companies working that. But what's your guys' thoughts on bringing old Reagan on?
I think it's great. Making it into a three-car team, I think, is definitely going to be more exciting even than, with the success this year. I think this is definitely just going to build on top of it.
Yeah, momentum's going to be great. And then let's talk about how cool that car looks too.
Yeah, that car's bad.
Wow.
That car's bad.
Yeah. David is really down to earth too. Very nice guy. It feels good to have, drivers who aren't dirty, who are, have good character and represent the brand well, and all of our partners as well.
There's definitely an underlining denominator to all the drivers. And to your point, talking about Chris he's not your typical like prima donna driver. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, there's a lot of prima donna drivers. We won't mention any, but you guys know they walk out of their hauler AC, they get in their car, they drive, they get in their helicopter, fly home. That's not the case here. I mean, we talked about Chris working on the crew. Chris is an extremely hard worker. David, same exact way. His dad, I forgot his dad's name, but he's always instilled him to be around the cars, to work hard on them. But funny story about David is they were actually at the Charlotte race, and I got a call that I needed to run by Andy Hillenberg's place to pick up a clear visor for the race because it was a night race and he only had a darker visor. And they called me and they're like, "Hey, can you run over? Just run it to the back. Say that it's for David Reagan. Like, it's fine." Well, I get to turn 3. I go to pull in. And here's this kid. I didn't have the nicest car. And I'm like, "Hey, I got this visor for David Reagan." And the guy's like, "Get out of here, kid." I'm like, "No, I need to give it to him." He's like, "He's not going to sign it." And I'm like, "That's not what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to give this guy a visor. He needs it for the race." I kid you not. I delivered that visor like 10 minutes before they pulled off pit row. Like, super close.
Wow.
So, David, if you hear this, I was the reason. I got you that visor. So, glad to see you on our team. But, no, to wrap up the RFK side, 2024 is going to be a huge year for them, and super excited to see what happens, and also to figure out ways to see the companies working together more. We were talking about some content ideas that we're excited to kick off.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, Trevor. With the success of the team with RFK this year, I think it's definitely interesting to see how that sort of excitement sort of bleeds into like other aspects of Roush. With Roush Performance, and like we've all been super on the ball with what's been going on with RFK on top of all the success, and just being in the office and hearing people talk about it is definitely
That's a good point.
exciting to hear.
It's when they win, we all win. I mean,
there's a shared passion for sure.
Yeah.
Which I think is one of the coolest aspects of our culture.
absolutely. Yeah, my kids are it's if we see Jack, if we see a picture of senior or our cars are winning or up front, they're screaming, they know it's like, "Oh, Daddy, that's your car." It's so cool to embrace that, and you feel that when you come to the office after a big win. So shout out to those guys. Jumping. So couple, let's talk about the Roush Performance side. Talking about those wins. A lot of the wins, guys, that we had was from a retail part standpoint. Superchargers, right? EO, both for the F-150 and the Mustang.
What is EO? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk
A lot of
about
people may not know what EO is, right? So EO, you've got different states that require different laws, and it's really, I don't want to say easy, but it's simple to launch a product that isn't 50 state legal, right, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we go through this crazy testing. We go through climate testing, all this stuff to prove emissions, quality, and all that. So what we did with this kit this year on both F-150 and Mustang is we got that EO number, which if you guys live in California or New York, you know what we're talking about. But that's a huge win, obviously, whenever we're able to achieve that. And I think just the way we are, right, we're not gonna skimp on any quality or anything like that. So when we do get that, we do consider it a huge win. And I don't know. I just want to make sure we talk about that, because the EO thing, you can say you got it, you achieved it, but there's so much in the back end that goes into getting that number. So shout out to our engineering team for sure.
Definitely. California and New York, they just got to be so difficult. Come on. we like to launch things a lot quicker,
picky,
but hey,
man.
we're going to do it right, to Josh's point, which it was kind of hard to digest in the first couple years of, it's like, man, maybe we're not always first to market, but when we're to market, it's the right way, it's done right, and it's almost like a guarantee, like this is the best product out there. So yeah, big there, but we did see both superchargers on the F-150 side, we're pumping out 705 horsepower. And then on the Mustang side, we're pumping out 750 horsepower, which is, guys, that's some serious numbers. Like, I love when people compare it to the industry standard, or like maybe not industry standard, but the high number that someone throws out there. It's like, don't compare us to this 1,500 horsepower because this company won off.
That's undrivable.
Yeah, like,
right.
Please. Let's talk about like the warranty side of things. Let's talk about dependability, durability. That's what should be important to someone behind the wheel of a car. When you buy a vehicle for $85,000 plus, especially in this times, I mean, we're seeing dealer markups and everything else. Like, you're investing a lot in a vehicle. You want it to be dependable. You don't want to be able to make one run and next thing you know, you're back in the shop. So,
and those numbers, that is true. Crank horsepower. Some numbers that you see out there in the market really are not very accurate. You'll even see companies exaggerating horsepower by getting a rear wheel horsepower and assuming a high percentage of driveline loss and, bumping up the power as a result.
Right.
But, these numbers we stand by, we always want to over deliver as well. But, there's different flavors of horsepower is my point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But no, a lot of time goes into these. I mean, just on the F-150 supercharger alone, we see 900 hours of dyno, engine durability and testing.
Mm-hmm. Like, engine dyno.
Yeah, engine dyno. 900 hours.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see.
Those things glow.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. Speaking of the dyno, you guys actually visited it a couple weeks back.
We did. That was super fun, just to get to see the behind the scenes of how those guys work. And it's really kind of a tight space down there. It's interesting to see how they function down there, but it's definitely getting to see the dyno at work. And
yeah.
Was that building 1?
Oh, no, that was just right downstairs here in building 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For the supercharger.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, went down for the supercharger, got some content of the assembly process as well as the dyno. Being able to see the dyno run incredible numbers. And guys, also to clarify, every single supercharger kit that you get has been has had some type of validation done on the supercharger dyno. Every single one before it gets kitted gets ran on this dyno. I don't know if we can clarify the number, but it's very high RPM. You don't see it on your dash. Can we say it? I don't know.
You're never going to reach the RPMs that they run these.
Can we say it? I don't know. We can maybe bleep it out. But it's 18,000 RPM for 1 minute. 18,000 RPM. But no, that's insane to think that. And then they throttle it back to 400 RPM and listen to any imperfections or any grinding or anything before it's kitted. And that may not be the engineering terms, but that's Trevor's terms here. So
quality checks.
It's one thing to say that stuff, and like we've said it 1,000 times to thousands of different people. When we talk about the superchargers, that's one of the first things we talk about is the testing that each one of them goes through, every single one. But to see it firsthand and actually like be next to the machine while it's running and to see and hear it, the sound is incredible too. Just
pretty incredible,
pretty special.
No, that is super cool. But no, I would say on the supercharger side, guys, big win, big numbers, dependable numbers. And then jumping over to 24 Mustang, we're seeing that as 650, guys. We're seeing it show up a ton. And if you take notice to roushperformance.com and our social media, we have launched tons of Mustang exhaust kits with compatibility for your 24 Mustang. So that's going to be your 5-liter Cowdy V8 resonator delete. Our X pipe is now compatible. Our catback exhaust kit, axle back exhaust kit, and resonator delete for the H pipe. And I don't know if you guys have heard those paired up together. You throw an X pipe with our catback, it sounds nasty.
Wonder X versus H. I wonder if there's a
difference.
Yeah,
I think
I know there's a difference.
raspy.
Oh, there is.
Oh no, yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
I wonder if I don't know. Are you? You guys need to tell us. Are you on the X pipe side of things or on the H pipe side of things?
What are you guys voting here? I'm X. I like the rasp and almost the crisp at high RPM. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's not in the X pipe, but I hear so much more backfire on X pipe as you're letting off from a high RPM.
Oh yeah, I'm the same. It sounds so good on the 650 too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, big stuff there. And then jumping over to our truck world, which as you guys have seen, we'll talk about events and the supporting of these events in the off-road world on our next little segment here. But before that, the wins on the vehicle production side, we launched the Roush Track Pack, Roush F-150, and Roush Super Duty.
Yes, sir.
And let me just tell you, if dream goals, Roush Super Duty, pulling Roush Track Pack. Matching paint to match.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd say
yeah.
So. Yeah.
Ooh, that would be it. But yeah, no, huge wins on those programs. Those track packs did not last long in the dealer world. We've seen some of our top dealers really. I think most of them were pre-sold before they even hit dealer lots by dealers. So
for sure.
Very cool to see that, and that's definitely a conversation that has happened amongst the automotive and Mustang specific world is what is Roush doing with Mustang, right? So which I think that kind of shifts us into 2024 and what's to come, guys. So working on some stuff. I guess let's start on Mustang.
Sure.
I'm not going to talk because I will say too much. I'm going to leave it up to one of you guys. What's people are asking, what is Roush doing in the 24 Mustang space?
Stuff.
Stuff
No.
and things.
It's early.
Yeah.
We can't spill the beans right now, but I'm personally very excited about what we got cooking. But yes, definitely stay tuned on that one.
Oh yeah.
Definitely not nothing.
Can we
Can promise that.
We were at the design studio this morning, so it's something. Can we say that?
You were
It's
in a place with a specific thing this morning.
Ideology and
No,
cool stuff.
I'm not saying anything. I think that's fine.
Wah, wah, wah. Look, I didn't even have to add the effect. I just did it. Anyway, see, that's why I can't talk about things. But no, hey, Roush.
Well, remember that white curtain we were talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, we want to pull back the curtain a little bit,
we'll
guys.
We'll pull it back.
and it'll happen soon.
Got to keep some level of suspense too, Keep them wanting more.
Hey, it's coming. But on top of that, we're also going to see early in the year the 24 Super Duty vehicle. As I said, best looking vehicle on the road.
Yep.
And that's facts. That is not my opinion.
Dead facts.
So,
Can confirm.
and then later on in the year, we're going to see a little bit of an update to it. That's super exciting. We won't go into more details on that, but a later episode you can listen in.
Yeah, we got 2 Super Duties next year.
Yep, 2 Super Duties, F-150, completely new rollout.
Big launch.
That's
going to be super
cool.
exciting.
Got some
Very
cool
excited
stuff
for
on
that.
one.
Yeah.
That one main feature, and I just have to say that we all know what we're talking about, is super cool. Like I don't know if there's a vehicle out there that does it.
There
There might be, but it's going to be.
Oh yeah.
There will be
Next level.
eventually after this.
Sure will. So
But we can't tell you about it yet. I don't even know what it is.
you don't know
Just
Jack.
kidding.
You don't know Jack.
No, it means you don't know, Jack.
But yeah, there's a comment there. So jumping over to a couple other things, and then we'll wrap up, guys, with 2024 events and kind of talk about the details there. I think that's a questionable thing that people are like, hey, what's going on in the Roush world? But before that, I wanted to talk a little bit about competition engines, or Roush crate engines, as people might identify them from the outside looking in. Pretty cool, Jack. And I know this is an initiative that you've been talking about internally and really making happen. Why don't you kind of tell us what's going on in that world with Roush Performance?
So for next year, one thing I'm really excited about is that we will be working much more with our engine group, not just crate engines, but our competition engine group. For me, it's kind of a poignant, point of our. I'm not wording this stuff very well at all.
I think it's good. No, you're good. I think I can pick it up from there too.
So for next year, I'm super excited about what we have cooking with our engine group brothers over in what we call Building 6. Not only is our crate engine group there, but also our competition engine group. And what you will see is us telling a story much more with those guys. You can already find our crate engine offering on our main website, but next year you'll be able to find information about our competition engine offerings. These guys are really the best in the business. When you look at the stuff that they've done, I'm going to be careful here too, because I don't know what I can talk about and what I can't. But we will tell more of these stories over time. Just really exciting stuff, from race series that use them as their official engines to land speed records to all kinds of really crazy projects, off-road racing.
Yeah, and it's going back to telling the story of all the services that we do. I think what we're kind of getting past that ball to say, like, hey, we do so much. Tell the story more on the performance level or on our platform. Right. But yeah, to your point, the off-road, the Pro 2 and Pro 4 Champ Off-Road Series guys, we sponsored 3 of those drivers that, guys, these are extremely talented drivers. They all have Roush engines, and they're all finishing 1, 2, and 3. They multiple championships. Like, this is not the Roush competition engine side absolutely leads the way in off-road racing. Like, I was able to see it firsthand. You were able to see it firsthand, which, talking about those trucks, are absolutely just amazing.
Oh, they're monsters.
Crazy high horsepower. I did not think you play video games, right? You jump trucks and, oh, that's cool. Like, those trucks go really far. Then you see it in person. You're like, wait a minute. We're really airing out 160-foot tabletops doing 120 miles an hour. It's absolutely just unheard of. And we were able to actually experience Crandon Off-Road International Speedway, which was absolutely mind-blowing, seeing them all come down turn 1 and just full send. But it's cool to be able to now showcase and share those stories through the Performance channel. So you're going to see a lot more like these resto mod builds, big high horsepower builds, and you're going to see more of the motorsport off-road world and the other supporting motorsport. So excited for that.
Just to tell a little story on that, from my perspective, it is very poignant, going through this, because really our company started as a competition engine company just one shop out of a building we still own, what we call Building 1. Now the building numbers go up over 100, with I think about 40 active buildings. But each new building we get, we've given it an incrementally higher number. But we started as a competition engine company. My dad did drag race, but it wasn't. He loved competing. Was really fired up about that. But it really wasn't just to compete. It was to make engines at a very high level to sell to customers, for them to race. And, for this to still be part of the fabric of our company, which it is a really cool thing to see. And you guys will be hearing a lot more about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Super exciting.
Definitely excited to share. But keep moving into 2024. A lot of the talk with events jumping into 2024. And let me just tell you guys, you are going to be absolutely pumped up for the type of events that we're doing. Speaking of like off-road world, like there's a lot of trends in the truck space and a lot of things that we're doing with the F-150 and Super Duty, and also our partners with Polaris Slingshot and stuff. Like you're starting to see us make more of this outdoor turn of more of a lifestyle, right? Outdoor lifestyle. So there's going to be a couple things that you're going to see us at next year. So let's first hit on the off-road side of things. We are looking to finalize a partnership with a company that's very renowned in the off-road space that puts on a heck of experience. And we're hoping to add to that experience by bringing in where Mustang owners are going to be able to essentially cruise up and then get into a supercharged F-150 or Raptor with our partners such as like RPG Off-Road and be able to see the capabilities off-road. So you get to cruise in your Mustang, you get best of both worlds. And then you get to jump in a 650, 705 horsepower Roush F-150. And you guys know this. We saw last year at Brimstone Recreational Park with Brantley Gilbert, one of the Roush Performance ambassadors. It was rock and roll, racing, jumping trucks, Polaris units. It was way too good of a time. But we're going to do that more this year. We're looking at 2 to 3 events with those guys, and we are still looking to put on our Brimstone recreational event, which TBD on date, but super excited to see how that all comes together. We are looking at doing some events with our RFK team and the NASCAR world, and we're still going to hit up your typicals, like your Carlisles, your Mustang weeks. You're going to still see us there. We're going to try to integrate a little bit more of a cruise-in factor, some giveaways, and always just keep things high level and fun. That's what we want to do on the event side. We just want to give you guys a platform to be able to come and experience.
Come hang out with us.
No, that's really it.
Yeah.
Just like come have a good time. Like
It's going to be fun. Yeah, we're got a lot of really cool stuff planned. I think, like what you said, Trevor, with a lot of the like experiential lifestyle type events that we're going to be going to this year, I think is definitely going to be very exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, come hang out, check out some new products and some cars.
Yeah.
Who knows? We may be doing some burnouts. I don't know.
Yeah. Jumping things, burnouts. But yeah, and then to kind of wrap up the 24 side of things, you're going to see us more on the Bronco side of things. Bronco has absolutely been booming. Speaking of Bronco, got tons of new retail parts offerings. Head over to roushperformance.com. Click
That's
Bronco
not an ad. That's not
parts and buy
Just
now.
a fact.
That's not an ad.
Shop now. No, but that's not an ad. Do we have to pay for our own ad space on here?
Sure.
Do we need to
I
talk
accept
about that?
Venmo,
But yes, on the Bronco side of things, guys, we're going to be heading out to a couple key events on the Bronco space. So you're going to catch us on the trail. So come hang out with us. Come cruise around, trail rides, all that fun stuff. But yeah, this is episode 1 of You Don't Know Jack podcast.
We're kicking it off.
It's going to be, yes, this is just the beginning.
It's gonna, yep.
We're going to do
fun.
a couple different formats too. I mean, this is a fun, team sort of thing. And then,
Yeah. If you got a topic that you think that we should discuss, hit us up on social media.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, we'd love to hear more about XYZ, and hopefully we can tell you about it. If not, we'll just tell you no, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. All right, guys, that is episode 1 of You Don't Know Jack podcasts. We hope that you are sharing this with your friends and keep going hard out there. Burnouts, jumping.
Keep the passion alive.
That's right.
It's under pressure right
We'll
now.
be looking out for you at those events too.
Yeah. Yep.
That's right.
It'll be fun, guys.
Awesome. We'll see you on the next one.